Hello, and welcome to ScrapTV, the video forum for the ISRI and Scrap Magazine websites. I'm Kent Kaiser, your ScrapTV host, and I'm here today with Sean Kelly, the recipient of the Recycling Research Foundation 2015 National Scholarship. REREF is an ISRI-affiliated organization that promotes the recycling industry through sponsorships, scholarships, technical assistance, and research. And the $5,000 national scholarship goes to an individual seeking a graduate degree in a field that supports the scrap processing and recycling industry. First off, welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me here today on ScrapTV. Congratulations on winning the 2015 National Scholarship.
Thank you again.
Can you tell me, how did you hear about the REREF Scholarship?
Well, I started a project with the Aluminum Association, and this was focused on determining the automotive aluminum recycling rate for the U.S.
Oh, okay.
And we knew we had to investigate scrap processors and survey them and talk to them.
Sure.
So I thought it'd be a perfect starting point to go to the ISRI website and to peruse that and see who I can get in contact with to maybe get in contact with those scrap processors. So going through the website, I came across the tab, the REREF tab, and there it was, and I read through it, and I thought this would be great exposure for me, so let's go through with this and apply and see what happens.
That's great. Wow,
Yep.
Good research. Well, what prompted you to apply for the REREF Scholarship? What were you seeking from it?
Well, like what I just said, I knew it would be good exposure if I was to receive it. I never expected anything like this, to be on ScrapTV or to be invited to this ISRI convention, but I knew there would be some public relation exposure, and of course, in addition to the support for my research and studies, it's been very helpful in being able to have that option to attend conferences that might be outside of budget to go and talk with the people, the expertise in the area. So.
Excellent.
Yep.
How did you find the application process for the scholarship? Was anything difficult about the process or anything?
No, it was actually pretty simple. 4 questions and straightforward. Why do you deserve this? How do you plan on staying involved? What have you currently done? It was pretty interesting. One of the first sentences in the first paragraph was, if you had a mixed pile of scrap, how would you sort it? And that's exactly what my master's research is in.
Oh,
so I went through the whole process, and I literally just copied and pasted one of my reports from my master's work, and that was what I proved to them as being my to-date update for my work.
Sounds like a very good fit.
Yeah, it's very good.
Excellent. Now, how long have you been interested in recycling, and how did that interest develop? I mean, how long ago does this go?
Right, so I've always been interested in recycling at the basic level, of course, maintaining that, you understand that sustainability is critical, and you always want to make sure that you're recycling to the public is let's sort plastic from metals and put it on the curbside. So there's always been an awareness of that, but in terms of going into this deep dive in research, it's been about 2 years now. I was looking for funding for my master's program, and I came across the Center for Resource Recovery and Recycling. I met my advisor, Dr. Duran Apelian, and he started this consortium about 5 years prior to when I met him. And he presented me with a project focusing on automotive aluminum recycling. And I took a week or so and I read through it all, and I did my own little research, and I said, wow, this is an area where there's definitely a gap, there's a need, this will always be an issue. Sure. So this is something that we need to get involved with, we being me. And so it's been about 2 years, and I'm very glad that I got involved at that starting point.
Very cool. Have you found it fascinating as you've learned more about the scrap industry? Did you know anything about it when you first jumped into this?
I didn't. It is so complicated. My advisor, he believes in, okay, you can read the books, you can read the papers, but I want to throw you into the industry. I want you to get acclimated by experience. Sure. So he sent me to Schnitzer Steel Corporation in Everett, Mass. That was one of my first meetings, and to see a hammer mill for the first time, and to see a car being shredded and mixing with appliances, refrigerators, and it was an amazing experience. And there's a lot going on in the industry. There's a lot that needs to go on in the future in order to advance the industry, and I knew that was something that I wanted to be a part of.
Very cool. Well, now you have a Bachelor of Science degree already in Biomedical Engineering from Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Yep. And you're currently pursuing your master's degree in Materials Science and Engineering in that school's Metal Processing Institute. Can you discuss the focus of your graduate studies as they relate to recycling?
Of course. So my first project, my master's work, is titled Scrap Characterization to Optimize the Recycling Process. Again, focused on automotive aluminum scrap in the shredded form.
Okay.
So we're interested in determining the metallic composition as well as the polymeric composition. So in terms of metallic, we want to understand what are the alloys that are composed in this mixture,
Gotcha.
and what are the various chemistries in terms of how can we sort this mixture into various chemical bins in order to upgrade that scrap stream. For the polymers, we're interested in the waste to energy initiative. So how much BTU, calorific content can we pull out of these scrap streams and recover and reuse in terms of cleaning or whatever the case may be to energize and feed a process.
Oh, okay. So what kind of work are you going to have to be doing to explore all these questions?
Well, so I started with just basically a hand sort using an XRF X-ray fluorescence handheld gun, and that basically tells me what each individual alloy is within a mixed stream. In addition to that, I've done some calorimetry work, which is basically a fancy word for how much heat can we recover from polymeric and paints and lacquers within the stream.
Gotcha.
We've completed this to date. We're expanding upon that project now.
Very cool. Now, and how long is this project going to take you, or this
So
study?
I've been working on the master's for 2 years. So that was the starting project, and then moving forward to the PhD dissertation, that should take me about 2.5, 3 more years.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So then you expect to get your master's degree or PhD when?
The PhD will be May of 2018 or end of that year.
Okay. All right. So then at that point, I assume you'll be out there looking for a job like most graduates.
Right.
Do you have an ideal job in mind, recycling related or not? But what would you do?
My ideal job would be to stay within this industry. I want to maintain and continue to build relationships like I have been here and in the past. For an ideal job, I would like to stay on with the automotive aluminum. It's a criticality right now, especially when you consider all of the aluminum being brought into the transportation sector. And it's going to become a more complex issue as we go along. We have these great F-150s that are so lightweight and great gas economy, but how do we recycle them at the end of life? And those are the types of questions that I want to answer with whatever job I land. So
that's great. That's great. So at this ISRI convention, have you been making some good contacts so far in the industry?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's willing to talk to you. Everybody wants to talk to you. You go up to them and they'll tell you their story. They want to hear your story, and you know they're listening. They care. It's a very close-knit group, and it's been a great experience so far.
Fabulous. Yeah. Well, now, we sent out a press announcement about your scholarship award, and we quoted you as saying that you, quote, strive to be a large part of the effort needed to reach complete material sustainability. Can you help explain what you mean by that?
Of course. So complete material sustainability, really closing the loop.
Okay.
So you have an end-of-life product. Let's take that end-of-life product and use the materials that compose that product and remake that same product in a newer form. That's one route. Another route is how can we look into reuse and repair and refurbishment as opposed to just recycling, remelting, and going forth downstream that way. So it's really just an issue of open loop versus closed loop. There will always be open loop, so you'll never be able to completely close a material cycle, but we can at least approach that maximum, which I don't think we're at yet, to ensure that we're getting the most out of our material resources.
Very cool.
Yep.
So do you feel like you've found your career niche at this point?
No, absolutely. I definitely have. It was almost by accident, but the stars kind of aligned, and I think it's meant to be at this point.
That's fabulous.
Yep.
Well, first of all, thank you, Sean, for talking with me today here on ScrapTV. Let's say congratulations again on winning the REREF scholarship. That's all we have today from ScrapTV. Join us again soon, and thank you for being here.